Every bettor thinks they know the answers going into today's MLB slate, but I promise you, there are traps waiting to crush the public. Some of these matchups look too easy, and that's exactly where Vegas wants you to walk straight into the fire. The numbers don't lie, but if you don't dig deeper into pitching splits, bullpen fatigue, and hidden lineup mismatches, you'll get burned. So today, we're tearing through every game on the board for September 12th, exposing the pitfalls, the fake value lines, and the spots where the sharp money is hiding. If you think you know who's going to win just by glancing at the odds, this slate will humble you. Shane Baz takes the mound for the Rays. He enters with a 9-11 record and a 4.94 ERA. His strikeout total is up 164K, but so is his hard contact rate and walks. Elevated fastballs tend to betray him when hitters time the heater out over the fence. Opposite him is Matthew Boyd, the lefty for the Cubs, with a much stronger 2.92 ERA, excellent control whip around or under 1.10-1.15, and a lower home run rate versus righty power bats. This pairing gives Chicago a clear advantage if Boyd holds command, especially early, whereas Baz must pitch deep into the game to give Tampa a shot. Bullpen strength tilts slightly toward Chicago. The Rays' relievers have serviceable arms but have shown cracks in high-leverage situations, especially in road spots. Chicago's pen has more stability, better inherited run prevention, and seems more rested. If Boyd exits before 6 innings, the Cubs' bullpen can hold on to leads or limit damage. If Baz struggles early, the Rays' pen may struggle to keep the Cubs from piling on. Offensively, both lineups have potent weapons. Rays Jr. Caminero boasts 42 homers and over 100 RBIs, giving them a serious home run threat in this lineup. Yandy Diaz continues to be an OBP and extra base machine. For the Cubs, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, and Nico Horner bring contact, gap hits, and doubles power, less reliant on the long ball but more consistent in traffic. At Wrigley, the ball carries, and day games can favor fly ball hitters, especially with anything elevated. The Cubs' offense tends to put pressure on pitchers early in counts, forcing fastballs in the zone, which is risky for Baz. From a market perspective, Chicago is favored. Odds reflect Boyd's effectiveness and better bullpen profile. The total is priced near 8.5, indicating respect for both starters but also acknowledging offense potential. Sharp money will likely flow toward Cubs ML, Boyd strikeout props, and possibly raise team total overs if Baz struggles. Betting angles in the game will likely hinge on early innings. If Cubs get on the board, live markets should favor their team total and run line. Conversely, if Baz cruises, value shifts to raise hitters and total base props. Player prop highlights. Matthew Boyd over 6.5 kiloseconds. Strong upside given his K/BB ratio and Rays contact weak zones. Shane Baz under 5.5 innings. Likely early trouble, elevated pitch count if behind in counts. Junior. Caminero anytime HR. Big power bat, ideal for taking advantage of mistakes. Seiya Suzuki over 1.5 total bases, reliable when the Cubs offense gets rolling. Cubs team total over 4.5 runs, assumes Boyd holds, Cubs hit early, Penn holds through middle innings. Totals lean under 9 if both starters work 5+ clean and bullpen control holds. Tilt toward over 9 if Baz gets hit early or Cubs line up with traffic in early and mid frames. Best bets. Primary. Cubs ML. Boyd plus Penn plus matchup advantages. Prop value. Boyd over K's 6.5, good strikeout ceiling. Team value. Cubs TT over 4.5 runs, extra value if offense builds momentum. SGP, parlay legs. Balanced SGP. Cubs ML plus Boyd over K's plus Suzuki TB over. Value stack. Cubs TT. Over plus Caminero hour plus under 10 total if close early. High risk high return. Cubs minus 1.5 plus Caminero hour plus over 10 total, explosive payout if offensive fireworks. Projected game flow. First 2 innings. Boyd makes fast work, generating 2 Ks and setting tone. Cubs jump to a run via Crow-Armstrong double, Suzuki drives it in. Mid-game. Baz gets squeezed in the third, elevated fastballs get punished, Caminero rockets a home run. Boyd fronts strong 6 innings with 5 Ks. 7th inning. Ray's pen enters, gives up crooked run, Cubs add insurance. Final. Cubs win 5-2. Props tied to Boyd's K line and Cubs TT cash. The Pirates send Mitch Keller to the bump, a veteran righty who can heat up on any given night and who's been trusted to eat innings when his slider and fastball are locating. Washington counters with Andrew Alvarez, a lefty with electric stuff in small samples this season and the kind of swing and miss profile that can make opposing lineups look overmatched when his curve and changeup are clicking. This shapes up as a classic righty-lefty contrast, Keller's length and ability to miss barrels versus Alvarez's upside in whiffs when he's on. Bullpen dynamics are decisive. Pittsburgh's relief corps has surged at times this year. Late arms that generate whiffs but also carry a few volatility flags in high-leverage innings. If Keller leaves around 5, matchup sequencing will matter. Washington's pen, meanwhile, has been patchwork but opportunistic. They've strung together a few responsible innings and rely heavily on matchup management. In short, if either starter exits early, the team with the deeper and fresher pen wins the narrative, and live markets will shift hard toward team totals and reliever-based props once the first substitution happens. Offensively, the matchup tilts on pocket power and contact sequencing. Pittsburgh still rides the two-headed thrust of Brian Reynolds and a hot middle of the order that can manufacture crooked innings. When Paul Skeens is in the rotation, the club's offense often plays with a small window mentality to back elite arms. Washington counterpunches with speed and gap-to-gap hitters who thrive on elevated on-base rate and run creation through plate discipline. Expect the Pirates to swing for torque in the middle frames while the Nationals attempt to manufacture pressure with OBP and base running in the early innings. Skeens' dominance this season, sub 2.00 era and elite K rates in recent weeks, has altered how the Pirates attack games and how books set lines when he's involved. Market lines are already reflecting starter narratives and park context. Early books opened the Pirates as favorites with Washington hanging as the live underdog and totals in that mid-range, around 7 to 8 runs, that make both team totals playable depending on starter performance. Sharp action historically targets the pitcher props and team totals in matchups like this. Take the early lines on K totals and the Royals of the market, SIC, on team total moves as the most useful early indicators of where the smart money is leaning. If Keller finds rhythm and limits walks, you'll see public money backing the Pirates ML. If Alvarez gets after it, expect small favorites on the home side and elevated team total overplays for Washington. Player prop angles to hammer and hedge. Keller over 5.5 kiloseconds is an attractive anchor. He's shown the ability to whiff the top of lineups when his slider is biting. Alvarez over 5.5 kiloseconds is live if books price him too low. His breaking ball usage can force strikeouts in bunches. On the bats, Brian Reynolds anytime HR remains a top single-ticket pop if he's sitting on heaters. Washington's C.J. Abrams over 1.5 total bases is a lower variance play given his speed and gap power. Team total focus. Pirates TT over 4.5 is a strong play if Alvarez misses early count leverage, while Nationals TT over 3.5 has value if Keller shows homer exposure. Tempo plays like first 5 innings under are viable if both starters spin clean early. Totals and game flow lean. Start with the baseline of 7.5 minus 8.5 and adapt in-game. Pre-game lean is under 9 if both Keller and Alvarez hold command into the 6th. Flip to over 9 if either starter walks batters early or the park weather data shows carry, wind out. Best bets laddered by conviction. 1 Keller over 5.5 kiloseconds, primary prop. 2. Reynolds Anytime HR, high upside single ticket. 3. Pirates ML, small to moderate, if live reports confirm Keller's start and bullpen rest. For contrarian value, Alvarez over 5.5 kiloseconds at plus odds is smart when books underestimate his swinging strike ceiling. SGP and parlay blueprints. Build correlated stacks, not random legs. Tight SGP. Pirates ML plus Keller over 5.5 kiloseconds plus Reynolds 1 plus hit. Correlation between starter dominance and team scoring. Value stack. Pirates TT over 4.5 plus Alvarez under 5.5 kiloseconds, small. This leans on Pirates getting to Washington's pen while fading Alvarez's K line if he looks inconsistent in warm-ups. High variance parlay. Pirates minus 1.5 plus Reynolds hour plus over 9.5. Small ticket only, big payoff if the middle innings explode. Size parlays conservatively. When starters are volatile, keep singles and two-leg SGPs as the backbone. In-game narrative I expect. Early frames tight, both pitchers hunting the zone. 3rd through 5th sees a momentum swing. Pirates manufacture 1 or 2 via a Reynolds extra base and a sac fly. Nationals answer with a small relief pen rally if Keller's pitch count rises. 6th inning is the live money hinge. If Keller's in the high 80s pitch count and the Pirates' pen is fresh, the Pirates tack on insurance. If Alvarez is yanked early and Washington's bullpen is cookin', we tilt the board to the Nationals over. 7th through 9th. The late arms and matchup sequences decide the ticket. Target closer props and inherited runner lines for highest EV. Bet sizing note. Treat starter prop singles as 1-2% unit plays, team totals 1-2% depending on line, and parlays under 0.5% unless you have strong confidence on correlated edges. This game is a pitcher's duel on paper that will pivot to a bullpen battle. The smart money will follow the first substitution and the final lineup confirmations. Walker Buehler, 7-7, 5.45 ERA, 84 strikeouts, gets the nod for Philadelphia, facing Michael Lorenzen, 5-10, 4.63 ERA for Kansas City. Buehler has shown flashes of brilliance mixed with bouts of inconsistency this season. Good velocity, occasional electric stuff, but also a high ERA and a whip north of 1.50. Lorenzen has battled similar spots. Solid strikeout numbers, but allowing more hard contact than you'd expect, and susceptible to long balls especially in hitter-friendly counts. Buehler has the edge if he can limit damage in the middle innings. Lorenzen needs to navigate a Phillies lineup that's been heating up, especially via Schwarber and Harrison Bader, who recently launched home runs. Phillies' bullpen remains an influence late in games. Having suffered some blow-ups earlier in the season, they've tightened up dramatically, fewer inherited runners scoring and better control in high-leverage situations. Jordan Romano is out on IL, which shifts some burden to set up men like Seranthony Dominguez and lower leverage arms, but overall the group looks more trustworthy lately. Royals' bullpen, anchored by their closer Carlos Estevez with 39 saves, has been decent but shows cracks when pushed beyond 2-inning spans or when the starter fails early. Thus, bullpen leverage favors Philadelphia in tight late frames. Offensively, the Phillies are peaking. Kyle Schwarber just hit his 50th home run, and contributions from Otto Kemp, Harrison Bader, and Nick Castellanos have provided multi-run innings in recent games. They've been aggressive yet disciplined, being selective early but punishing mistakes in the middle portion of innings. Royals offense features Vinny Pasquantino, 29-hour, 100-plus RBI, and Bobby Witt Jr., who has been consistent with high contact and power. However, the supporting cast is less threatening in deep counts, which makes them vulnerable against pitchers who work counts and mix breaking stuff. Home park advantage heavily favors the Phillies. Citizens Bank Park has been a launching pad for power lately. Market lines are reflecting this. Phillies ML around -160 to -175, Royals +130 to +150. Totals are projected in the 8.59 run range. Sharp bettors are drawn to props, especially strikeouts for Buehler and home run props for Schwarber. There's also value in team total overs for Philadelphia if Lorenzen is touchy early. Public money is expected to lean Philly, but value may lie with Royals prop plays and possible live plays on run line or totals once first few innings reveal pitching form. Player prop ideas. Buehler over 5.5 kiloseconds, high upside if he gets ahead of the Royals early. Lorenzen under 6.5 kiloseconds, fade angle if his stuff isn't sharp. Kyle Schwarber anytime HR, power spike and favorable home splits. Pasquantino over 1.5 total bases, consistent extra base potential. Phillies team total over 4.5, likely if they score early and bullpen holds. Totals lean. Lean under 9 if Buehler settles, Phillies start clean, and Royals are limited in rallies. Lean over 9 if Lorenzen is hittable early or Phillies get sloppy with pitch selection, turning deep counts against them. Best bets breakdown. Primary. Kyle Schwarber HR prop, highest upside relative to risk. Value play. Phillies ML moderate lean, better margin control with pitching and offense. Team totals. Phillies TT over 4.5, strong complement to ML bet. SGP, parlay structures. Safe build. Phillies ML plus Schwarber hour plus under 10 total, balanced offense plus controlled scoring. Value stack. Phillies TT over plus Buehler over Ks plus Pasquantino TB over, leverages offense and pitcher upside. High risk payoff. Phillies minus 1.5 plus Schwarber hour plus over 10.5 total, explosive return if momentum swings. Game flow projection. First 2 innings are clean from both starters, then Phillies unload offense in the third via Kemp-batter combo. Schwarber launches a solo in the fourth. Lorenzen struggles with walk totals, induces traffic, allows multi-run frame. Buehler cruises through 6 with strong K count. Royals threaten late, but Phillies pen closes. Final approximately 6-2 Phillies. Team and prop lines cash big. Toronto lists Chris Bassitt as the probable starter for this tilt while Baltimore's first pitch plans look less set and may come down to the pregame announcements. That means the immediate edge is tied to Bassitt's form and how the books price the opposing arm once it's posted. Bassitt's profile is straightforward. Veteran sinker, slider sequencing, a respectable K floor and a knack for generating weak contact when he's locating his cutter. If he's on, Toronto can eat innings and force the Orioles to push their bullpen earlier than they'd prefer. If Bassitt misses his slot and the O's attack the inner half, the game becomes a bullpen slog very quickly. Bullpen leverage favors the Blue Jays on paper. Toronto's relief group has shown better inherited runner suppression and more reliable high-leverage strikeout arms than Baltimore's depth chart this season. The Orioles' pen has had flashes, especially in short bursts at home, but it still grades as more volatile when stretched. That means live markets will likely move toward Toronto on anything resembling a late lead, and they'll open up contrarian team total and reliever props value on Baltimore if the starter goes longer than 4 to 5 innings. Use bullpen usage and matchup history as your micro signals once the starter confirmations and final lineups drop. Offensively, these teams present contrasting speed power mixes. Toronto carries depth through its middle order with consistent OBP and run creation. When Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer or Bo Bichette are in the lineup, they change the math on any pitcher's margin for error. Baltimore leans into top-of-order speed and situational power. They manufacture crooked innings and can force pitchers into uncomfortable counts by extending at-bats. Rogers' center favors power generally, but wind and game time conditions can dampen carry. The smart play is to size props around extra base hits and team totals rather than hammering low-odds long balls. Market context. Early lines show Toronto as the favorite with the total sitting in the high 8 to 9 range, a number that reflects Bassitt's presence and Baltimore's home park ability to scratch runs. Sharp money tends to hunt K props and team totals here. Bassitt strikeout lines. Toronto team total overs, and Orioles individual power props cheap if the books underprice a home run artist or where public and sharp overlap diverge. Watch for 2 post-line moves. The posting of Baltimore's confirmed starter and any late scratches. Those pivot points typically change ML juice and team total ladders within minutes. Top player prop angles, high EV targets. Chris Bassitt over 5.5 kiloseconds. Bassett's whiff ceiling is legit against contact teams. If books get conservative on the line, this is your anchor. Opposing starter under 5.5 kiloseconds. If Baltimore names a soft tossing contact arm, expect the Jays to pressure and the K totals to compress. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Over 1.5 total bases. Elite barrel profile, favorable exit velocity trends versus mid-rotation righties. Anthony Santander anytime hour, smaller stake, home split power, good long shot ticket when priced plus 250 or better. Blue Jays team total over 4.5. If Bassitt breezes early and Toronto's lineup keeps working counts, the depth here pays off. Totals and side lean pregame lean is slight Blue Jays ML, Blue Jays TT over 4.5 in medium size. The underlying logic. Bassitt innings eating ability plus better bullpen depth plus lineup depth. Lean under the listed total only if Bassitt shows early command and Baltimore's starter, once announced, as a soft contact suppressor who can keep the Jays off the long ball. Live pivots. If Baltimore's lineup posts early traffic in innings 1 to 3, jump to Orioles team total and small ML hedges, that's where the quick money lives. Best bets sizing guidance. Primary 1-2% unit, Bassitt over 5.5 kiloseconds, starter prop with solid upside. Secondary 0.5-1% unit, Blue Jays team total over 4.5. Roster depth makes this a sensible complement to the starter prop. Value, small, tiny unit, Santander anytime HR, high variance but nice payout if priced correctly. SGP, parlay constructions, correlation aware. Conservative SGP. Blue Jays ML plus Bassitt over 5.5 kiloseconds plus Guerrero TB over, correlated but anchored by the starter and low volatility TB leg. Value stack. Blue Jays TT over plus Bassitt Ks over plus Orioles opposing starter under Ks, uses team and starter edges. High juice parlay, small, Blue Jays minus 1.5 plus Guerrero hour plus over 9.5 total, only for tiny ticket size, requires multiple high variance outcomes. Projected game flow, how this plays out live, first 3 innings. Bassitt attacks the zone, rings up a few swinging strikes, and Toronto scratches one via a 2-out RBI. Mid-game. Orioles pressure with small ball. Sequence. A walk, a stolen base, and a first-inning manufacturing run that forces Bassitt's pitch count to climb. By the 4th, Bassitt settles, strikes out the side with 2 swinging strikes on his slider, and departs after 6 strong innings with 7 to 9 Ks on the board. Toronto's pen turns 3 innings of shutdown work. Late-game insurance comes from a Guerrero RBI double and a Santander long ball that keeps the books honest. Final box score. Blue Jays 6, Orioles 3, props and TT cashes align. Risk management and final notes confirm Baltimore's starter before finalizing any bets. Use early warm-up reports and first pitch announcements to hunt the soft edges, especially for starter K lines and team totals. Size parlays conservatively and favor correlated SGP legs over random multi-leg tickets. When pitchers are uncertain, single-ticket props on the confirmed starter are the highest EV plays. The New York Mets head south to Arlington to clash with the Texas Rangers in what shapes up to be a fascinating non-league matchup. The Mets are expected to hand the ball to Sean Manaea, 6-6, 4.19 ERA, while the Rangers counter with Michael Lorenzen, 8-8, 4.01 ERA. Both pitchers have been serviceable but far from elite, and that means the bullpens and lineups may decide where the value lies in this game. Manaea's profile is deceptive. He has shown flashes of dominance, using his slider, changeup mix to neutralize right-handed hitters, but his margin for error is slim. When he misses up in the zone, hard contact follows quickly. His HR-9 rate has hovered around 1.3, which is exploitable in a ballpark like Globe Life Field that favors right-handed pull hitters. Lorenzen, on the other hand, thrives on pitch-to-contact strategy. He doesn't miss a ton of bats, sitting around a modest 6.7 K/9, but he generates weak grounders when his sinker is working. His problem is control in high-leverage spots. When behind in counts, he turns into a very hittable pitcher, and the Mets lineup, known for patience, could exploit that with base runners and long innings. The bullpen battle is where sharp bettors will look first. The Mets' relief corps has been inconsistent all season. While Edwin Diaz returning to late-inning duties provides a massive strikeout weapon, the bridge from the starter to Diaz is often shaky. Middle relief arms like Brooks Raley and Reed Garrett have been prone to walks, giving up crooked numbers when fatigued. The Rangers' bullpen, however, has been equally volatile. Despite upgrading at the deadline, Texas still ranks bottom third in bullpen era, with issues closing out games. Jose Leclerc and David Robertson are often leaned on heavily, and both have shown vulnerability against disciplined hitters. That means late-game runs are a very realistic angle, pushing value on full game overs and live-in-game totals. Offensively, the Mets lean on Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Brandon Nimmo to drive production. Alonso is the key prop play here. His matchup against Lorenzen's sinker ball tendencies lines up for damage, as Alonso feasts on pitches left middle in. Lindor provides total base upside with his switch-hitting ability, especially batting right-handed against Lorenzen's weaker platoon split. Nimmo sets the table with walks and OBP, creating RBI chances for the middle of the order. For the Rangers, Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia remain the focal points. Seager continues to carry one of the league's best hard-hit rates, and his lefty bat is positioned well against Manea's tendency to allow loud contact to lefties when his changeup floats. Garcia's power-speed combo is ideal against a Mets staff prone to mistakes in the middle innings. A sneaky prop angle is Marcus Semien over 1.5 total bases. He has a track record of punishing left-handed starters, and Manea's fastball-changeup combo could line up in his wheelhouse. Market dynamics suggest the Rangers will open as slight home favorites, around -125 on the moneyline, with the total hovering near 9 runs. Bettors should expect strong two-way action. Public leaning on Texas at home, sharps potentially grabbing value on the Mets at plus money given Lorenzen's lack of swing and miss upside. Totals action leans toward the over. Both bullpens struggle, both starters are contact-oriented, and both lineups can put up crooked innings. Player prop angles to target. Pete Alonso anytime hour, plus 280 or better. Lorenzen's sinker location issues set up Alonso perfectly. Francisco Lindor over 1.5 total bases, switch hitter advantage and power speed combo give multiple pathways to cash. Marcus Semien over 1.5 total bases, thrives against left-handed pitching, particularly fastball, changeup combos. Manea over 5.5 kiloseconds. If his slider is working, he can pile up whiffs against a swing-happy Rangers bottom half. Lorenzen under 4.5 kiloseconds. Mets plate discipline and contact-heavy approach suppress his strikeout ceiling. Totals and side leans. The best early value is over 9 runs. Two vulnerable bullpens and contact-heavy starters increase chances for runs late. On the side, lean Rangers ML at -125 or better for the home field edge, but sprinkle on Mets' first 5 megaliters if Lorenzen's command wavers early. Best bets. Primary 1-2% unit over 9 runs. Bullpen volatility on both sides creates paths for late scoring. Secondary 1% unit Alonso anytime HR. Matchup-driven prop with excellent upside. Small 0.5% unit Lindor TB over 1.5. Versatile hitter with platoon advantage. SGP, Parlay Ideas. Conservative SGP. Rangers ML plus over 8.5 plus Alonso TB over 1.5. Combines side, total, and prop correlation. Value stack. Mets F5 mega leaders plus Alonso hour plus Manaea over Ks, banking on a hot start for New York before bullpen variance. High risk parlay. Rangers minus 1.5 plus Semien TB over plus both teams over 3.5 runs, high return ticket if the offenses click. Projected game flow. First inning. Nimmo works a leadoff walk, Lindor doubles to right, Alonso drives in 2, Mets up early. By the third, Seager answers with a line drive homer off Manaea, trimming the lead. Mid-game sees Lorenzen labor, leaving after 5 with 90 pitches, but only 3 runs allowed. Both bullpens then take center stage. The Mets falter first, with Raleigh giving up a Garcia 2-run blast in the 7th. The Rangers' pen holds just enough, Robertson shutting the door with a shaky but successful 9th. Final projection. Rangers 6, Mets 5, over 9 cashes, Alonso and Semien props land, and the Rangers ML holds. Probable starters. Martin Perez White Sox LHP, 1-4, 3.15 ERA versus Tanner Bibee Guardians RHP, 9-11, 4.69 ERA. Perez's season numbers show decent control, moderate whiff rates, and historically better performance in tight games, but his win record suffers from low run support. Bibee, meanwhile, has struggled with consistency, walks, and giving up hard contact in the middle innings, though when his breaking balls and fastball locate he can rack up strikeouts. The matchup favors Washington if Bibee's stuff is off, but when he's sharp the Guardians tend to dominate. Bullpen considerations. Cleveland's bullpen is solid deep. Several relievers who suppress inherited runners well, average low home runs allowed, and good strikeout capacity. The Guardians' bullpen ranks among the better in the league in high-leverage outings. White Sox relief has shown flashes, especially with Lennon Sosa in the lineup, adding offense, but their pen is less reliable when Perez comes out early. If Perez exits before 6, White Sox bullpen risk is high. Conversely, if Bibee struggles early, Cleveland's pen will be tested but likely has more depth. Offensive trends and analytics. The White Sox are using pace and composure. Recent run production has come from extra base hits and patient at-bats, particularly with Miguel Vargas returning to boost batting order. They've shown mid-inning scoring ability despite overall weak offensive metrics. The Guardians have stronger overall offense. Jose Ramirez has 28 hour and has been key in clutch situations. Steven Kwan continues to draw walks, drive runs, and generate pressure. Kyle Manzardo is providing power upside, and the team is more adept at converting double and extra base delays. White Sox rank among the lowest in WRC+ but have improved over the last month. Guardians are slightly above average in WRC+ recently. Also, Cleveland's defense, especially in the infield, has been an asset, converting batted balls into outs that help lower run totals. Betting markets and total line. Early odds favor Cleveland, ML around -135 to -150, White Sox underdog. Total likely open near 8.5 runs, possibly moving depending on bullpen rest and weather wind conditions. Sharp money expected on props and team totals. Watchers will likely target Bibee's strikeout line, Perez's whip, White Sox over team total, and extra base props for Guardians, power hitters. Player prop angles. Bibee over 5.5 kiloseconds, high upside if his secondary offerings work and he avoids early base traffic. Perez under 5.5 kiloseconds, fade if Cleveland's lineup forces fastballs early. Jose Ramirez anytime HR. Powerful bat with good splits versus lefties, favorable matchup. Miguel Vargas over 1.5 total bases, returning from injury, extra base types, power gap potential. White Sox team total over 3.5, value if lineup gets timely hits and presses Cleveland's pen. Totals lean. Lean over 9 runs if early offense shows, or if weather aids carry, or if bullpen usage emerges early. Lean under 9 if both starters settle, defense holds, and the game remains tight until later innings. Best bets. Primary. Bibee over 5.5 kiloseconds, starter prop with strong strikeout upside. Secondary. Ramirez anytime HR, power player plus home park help. Value. White Sox team total over 3.5, lower variance, gets juice with offense plus pen instability. SGP, parlay structures. Balanced SGP. Guardians ML plus Ramirez hour plus over 8.5 total, uses starter edge plus power. Value stack. Guardians TT over plus Bibee over Ks plus Vargas TB over, blends offense, strikeout, extra base hits. High payoff parlay. Guardians minus 1.5 plus Ramirez hour plus over 9.5 total, for small ticket stakes but big return if Cleveland breaks loose. Projected flow. First 2 innings clean from both, then Guardians strike in the third via Ramirez single and stolen base, scoring off small ball. Mid-game, Bibee hangs around 6 with strong K count. White Sox respond with Vargas double and small rally but leave runners stranded. Cleveland adds insurance via extra base gap hits and power from lower order. White Sox pen falters in 7th, Cleveland closes out 5-2. Props tied to Ramirez and team totals hit hard. Lucas Giolito toes the rubber for Boston and Luis Gil draws the ball for New York. A matchup that screams volatility. Giolito brings swing and miss breaking stuff and the ability to go deep when his cutter lands, while Gil's arm is all heavy fastballs and late-life breaking pitches that can blow innings open when he's peaking. If Giolito locates the cutter to both sides and keeps the ball down, he'll force the Yankees into 2 strike at-bats and hand Boston late-inning leverage. If Gil gets his heater over the plate and the Yankees lineup jumps on anything elevated, this shifts into a Yankees power contest fast. Both clubs will be watching warm-ups like hawks. The first glance at velocity and spin will tell you whether you lean the starters or pivot to props. Bullpens are the fulcrum here. Boston's relief corps has tightened in recent weeks but still shows moments of volatility. When their sinker-slider arms are working they smother rallies, but when matchups go wrong a single inning can flip the board. New York's pen profile is deeper on paper. Better high-leverage arms with proven K ability and lower inherited runner conversion, which hands them a late-game edge if Gil can give 5 to 6 innings. That dynamic makes in-game live markets vulnerable. If Giolito exits early the line will spike toward the Yankees, and conversely, an early trouble show by Gil turns the books toward Boston's bullpen value. Watch bullpen rest, recent usage and who warmed up in the pen in the 4th inning. Those micro-signals move market money faster than any preseason prediction. Offensively this is power versus balanced attack. New York's middle order is predicated on launch and plate discipline. When they get ahead in counts they punish mistakes with extra base hits. Boston counters with a combo of lefty-righty mash threats and gap-to-gap damage. Their lineup turns pitchers inside out when it gets 2 strikes. In terms of analytics, expect the Yankees to lead the game in expected slugging and barrel rate, while the Red Sox will rely on situational hitting, OBP creation and taking advantage of any elevated fastballs left up in the zone. Park and weather factors at Fenway can amplify homers on the Green Monster side, so monitor wind direction. A light wind out makes Judge Soto or Boston's pull power, depending on who's in far more dangerous on fly balls. Market pricing and early angle. The books have this priced as a tight, late-night dogfight with moneyline movement responsive to bullpen and starter confirmations. Pre-game lean activity often hits the starters, strikeout props and team totals first. If Giolito's K-line is juiced low, that's an immediate red flag to back the over on Yankees team total or to snag a Gil K over. Conversely, if Gil's velo looks down and Giolito's cutter is sharp, the safer play compresses toward Boston ML and a Phillies-style first 5 under becomes viable. Expect totals in the high 7 to low 9 range early. The true edges will show when first pitch velocities hit the wire. High-value player props and how to think about them. Giolito over 5.5 kiloseconds. When his breaking stuff is turning over, he racks whiffs in bunches. This is a starter anchor if the line sits at 5 to 6. Gil over 6.5 kiloseconds. Gil's fastball slider combo can induce swings and misses, especially if he avoids pitching to contact early. Aaron Judge anytime hour, a Yankees power bat of choice, a one-swing ticket with middling juice but huge upside if Giolito misses up. Red Sox team total over 4.5. Boston's lineup is deep. If Gil falters early, this leg spikes in EV. First 5 innings under 4.5. Sharp contrarian play if both starters throw well and pens are both under rest pressure. Best bets and sizing approach. Favor starter props as core singles 1-2% units because they're less correlated to the bench and in-game managerial moves. For side action, a modest lean Boston ML if Giolito's cutter shows plus command. Otherwise slide toward Yankees TT over 4.5 as a team total parlay anchor. Structure SGPs with one high confidence leg, starter prop, plus one low variance bat leg, total bases rather than stacking multiple high variance HR legs. SGP, parlay frameworks correlation aware. Conservative. Giolito over 5.5 kiloseconds plus Red Sox ML plus Judge under 1.5 terabytes if you're fading power. Balanced. Yankees TT over 4.5 plus Gil over 6.5 kiloseconds plus Red Sox TB over 1.5 balanced cross of K and TB. High upside. Yankees minus 1.5 plus Judge hour plus over 9.5 total. Tiny ticket only. Needs starter. Trouble plus power outbreak. Live game angles to watch for quick pivots. 1. First inning velocity spike, downshift for each starter. 2. Bullpen warm-ups in the 4th, 5th. Which arms are getting throws. 3. Lineup confirmation and any late scratches. These 3 will flip market juice and expose immediate edges for team totals, reliever props and first 5 lines. In short, lock core starter props early. Size sides based on warm-up intel, and keep parlays tight and correlated. That's how you turn a stressful rivalry night into an edge play. For this interleague clash, we've got Trevor Rogers scheduled to start for Miami against Detroit's right-hander Reese Olson, and that matchup sets the tone for how bettors are breaking this game down. Rogers, a lefty who has shown flashes of dominance but remains inconsistent, enters with a FIP in the low 4s and strikeout rates hovering around 1 per inning. His biggest issue has been command. Too many walks and a tendency to leave his changeup elevated when he loses feel. Against a Detroit lineup that profiles better versus right-handed pitching than left-handed, Rogers' margin of error is slightly wider, but the Tigers have bats that can punish mistakes, particularly Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, and Kerry Carpenter, all of whom carry barrel rates that make them dangerous in matchups against a lefty with command lapses. Olson, on the other hand, has been the kind of steady mid-rotation arm the Tigers lean on. His slider and changeup combo miss bats, and his ground ball tendencies help limit damage. Olson's whip has hovered around 1.20, and while he's not overpowering, he's shown excellent control with under 2.5 walks per 9 innings. The Marlins lineup has struggled against sliders and off-speed from right-handers, ranking in the bottom third of MLB in ops against that profile, which makes Olson a strong candidate for an efficient outing if his stuff is sharp. Bullpen dynamics could be pivotal here. Miami's bullpen has quietly improved in the second half but still sits middle of the pack in ERA and WHIP. Tanner Scott has been the anchor in late innings, with swing and miss stuff that plays against both lefties and righties, but the bridge arms before him have been shaky. The Tigers' bullpen, meanwhile, has been inconsistent all year. Jason Foley has shown flashes as a ground ball specialist, but Detroit lacks elite swing and miss relief options outside of Tyler Holton. That gap matters if this game comes down to the late innings, as Miami arguably has the more reliable closer. The recent workload also leans slightly against Detroit, with their relievers seeing heavier usage in the past week, suggesting a potential advantage if Miami keeps it close through the sixth. From an offensive analytics perspective, Miami has not generated much power this year. Jazz Chisholm Jr. provides speed and occasional pop, and Brian De La Cruz has been the Marlins' most reliable power threat, but this lineup leans on contact and small ball to scratch runs. They sit in the bottom 10 in home runs and slugging, which means the Marlins' path to victory likely involves stringing singles together and creating havoc on the bases. Detroit, conversely, has seen growth in its young bats. Green and Carpenter have been consistent threats, and Torkelson, despite streakiness, has the raw power to flip games with one swing. Against Rogers, Green's ability to hit left-handed pitching will be key, while Torkelson matches well against fastballs and changeups left in the zone. Expect Detroit's lineup to carry a higher home run probability than Miami's, particularly in Comerica Park where the ball can still carry to the gaps if the weather is favorable. Now let's get into the prop market. For strikeouts, Rogers' line will likely open around 4.5-5.5 kiloseconds, and there's some value in the under if Detroit stays patient. The Tigers don't have a league-best strikeout rate, but they've improved in September and can grind at bats. Olson's strikeout prop is more appealing. With Miami's struggles against sliders and his ability to set up hitters with elevated heaters, his over 5.5 kiloseconds has value. On the hitting side, Spencer Torkelson anytime HR is a playable prop at plus money given Rogers' home run vulnerability when he misses location. For Miami, De La Cruz over 1.5 total bases is an attractive angle. He's been the lone consistent extra base bat and matches well against Olson's fastball when it leaks arm side. Jazz Chisholm's stolen base props are also intriguing, as Olson doesn't control the running game particularly well. Betting angles. The total for this game should be set in the 8 to 8.5 range, and the under has appeal if both pitchers settle in early. Olson projects to suppress Miami's weak contact, and if Rogers can limit damage against the Tigers' lefty mashers, we're looking at a lower scoring contest. First 5 under 4.5 is a sharp play, leaning on both starters rather than testing bullpens. Side-wise, Detroit is a small favorite at home feels justified. Olson's reliability paired with a lineup that has more pop and a comparable bullpen tilts value toward the Tigers. Miami's best case is to steal runs early and hand a late lead to Scott, but if they fall behind, their lack of power makes comebacks tough. Best bets worth circling. Olson over 5.5 strikeouts, De La Cruz over 1.5 total bases, first 5 under 4.5, and Detroit moneyline in a parlay leg. For parlays, one conservative same-game parlay could be Olson 5 plus Ks plus Tigers ML plus total under 9. For a more aggressive leg, Torkelson hour plus Tigers minus 1.5 plus game total over 8.5, targeting the volatility if Rogers implodes. A balanced version could be Jazz Chisholm 1 plus Steele plus De La Cruz 2 plus TB plus Olson 6 plus Ks, which pays a solid mid-range return without relying solely on home runs. This is the type of matchup where the books lean slightly toward Detroit's stability, but the right angle comes from exploiting Miami's inability to handle sliders and Detroit's youth-driven power upside. This interleague heavyweight battle features two of the most complete teams in baseball, the Atlanta Braves and Houston Astros, both armed with elite lineups, respectable rotations, and pens that can shift a betting market. For Atlanta, right-hander Max Fried is the verified starter, while Houston is expected to counter with Christian Javier, setting up a duel between a command first ace and a volatile but high-upside strikeout arm. Fried enters this matchup with a SUB 3.50 ERA, supported by a FIP in the same range, driven by elite ground ball rates over 50% and a cutter-curveball combination that neutralizes right-handed bats. Javier has been much more of a boom-or-bust pitcher this season. His strikeout rate still sits near 10 kiloseconds per 9 innings, but his home run rate has climbed due to command lapses, leaving him exposed against power-heavy lineups like Atlanta's. With Truist Park playing hitter-friendly in summer conditions, Javier's fastball slider profile is one the Braves can attack if he isn't locating. Bullpen dynamics give Atlanta the clear edge. The Braves' pen ranks top 5 in MLB in ERA and WHIP, anchored by Raisel Iglesias at closer and flamethrower A.J. Minter bridging the gap. They've been adept at suppressing power and limiting hard contact, critical against a Houston team that thrives on barrels and clutch hitting. Houston's bullpen, by contrast, has been shakier. Ryan Presley remains reliable, but Rafael Montero and Brian Abreu have had stretches of inconsistency, and the Astros' middle relief has coughed up late leads. This matters when analyzing betting angles. Atlanta has one of the best comeback records in MLB, while Houston's late-inning meltdowns make their first 5 innings much safer to bet on than the full 9. Offensive analytics turn this matchup into fireworks potential. The Braves lead the league in home runs and slugging, with Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Austin Riley all carrying ops numbers north of .850. Against Javier's rising fastball, Olson and Riley are in prime spots for extra base hits, while Acuna's elite bat speed and plate discipline make him a nightmare matchup. Even Orlando Arcia and Michael Harris too have chipped in with consistent barrels at the bottom of the order. Houston counters with equal star power. Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, and Jose Altuve all rank top tier in hard hit metrics. Alvarez in particular profiles perfectly against Fried's curveball if he leaves it up, and Altuve remains a nightmare in high leverage moments. Still, Atlanta's lineup carries more balance 1-9, while Houston's production has been more top-heavy. Props markets open intriguing doors here. Fried's strikeout prop should open around 5.5, and the over has value given Houston's whiff tendencies versus left-handed breaking balls. Javier's prop, likely at 4.5 or 5.5, tilts toward the under against Atlanta's disciplined approach. For hitting props, Olson anytime HR is live, given Javier's homer-prone profile. Acuna over 1.5 total bases is another sharp angle, as he has been feasting on velocity. For Houston, Alvarez anytime HR is always in play, and Tucker over 1.5 terabytes provides value since he thrives against high-spin lefty breaking pitches. Bettors looking at RBIs can target Olson and Alvarez, both in strong RBI spots with men likely on base in front of them. Totals market reads as volatile. The opening number should hover between 8.5 and 9 runs. First 5 over 4.5 makes sense. Javier's volatility plus Atlanta's power could lead to crooked numbers early, while Houston's lineup can strike quickly against Fried if his command wavers. The full game over is viable too, but sharp bettors may split exposure with first 5 over and hedge with Braves ML to cover bullpen superiority. Side-wise, Atlanta should open as slight favorites, around -135, with Houston at +115. Given the Braves' superior bullpen, deeper lineup, and home field edge, the moneyline tilts Atlanta, while Houston backers are better served looking at first 5 megaliters or team total overs. Best bets crystallize around Atlanta's offense and Javier's shakiness. Primary angles: Braves ML, first 5 over 4.5, and Olson anytime hour. Secondary props: Acuna over 1.5 terabytes, Fried over 5.5 kiloseconds, and Alvarez HR for hedge exposure. For team totals, Braves over 4.5 feels sharp, given their consistent ability to tag right-handed starters early and force pens into high leverage. SGP and parlay structures for this matchup are particularly appealing. A conservative build: Braves ML plus Fried 5 plus Ks plus Olson 1 plus hit. A midrange value stack: Braves over 4.5 runs plus Olson hour plus Acuna 2 plus TB. For a high-risk, high-reward parlay: Braves -1.5 plus Olson hour plus Alvarez hour plus total over 9, leaning fully into slugfest potential. Another angle is a balanced hedge. First 5 over 4.5 plus Braves ML plus Alvarez 1 plus RBI, targeting both lineups' ability to score early while covering Atlanta's late-game strength. Game flow forecast. First inning fireworks. Altuve leads off with a double. Alvarez drives him home with a missile to right. Astros up 2-0. Bottom of the first. Acuna smashes a leadoff double. Olsen ropes an RBI single, and Riley launches a 2-run shot to give Atlanta a 3-2 lead. Fried settles after early traffic, mowing down 6 over the next 4 innings. Javier battles, but a 4th inning Olsen homer opens the floodgates. By the 7th, Houston's bullpen is leaking, and Atlanta tacks on insurance runs. Final score projection. Braves 7, Astros 4, with key props. Olsen HR, Acuna TB over, Fried over Ks, cashing alongside a first 5 over. This interleague showdown between the Minnesota Twins and Arizona Diamondbacks has all the makings of a chess match between contrasting styles, the Twins riding one of the best starting rotations in the American League and the Diamondbacks leveraging scrappy contact bats, aggressive base running, and clutch timely power. On September 12, the confirmed pitching matchup brings right-hander Joe Ryan to the mound for Minnesota against lefty Tommy Henry for Arizona, setting up a fascinating duel of skill sets and betting market opportunities. Joe Ryan enters this matchup with a strong season profile, sporting an ERA in the mid-3.00s, backed by excellent strikeout-to-walk ratios and one of the league's better whips. His biggest weapon is the high-spin four-seam fastball, which he throws up in the zone to induce whiffs and weak fly balls, complemented by a splitter that has generated a significant swing-and-miss rate against left-handed hitters. Against an Arizona lineup that tends to struggle against elite spin and velocity, Ryan should find himself in favorable counts if his command stays sharp. However, Ryan is also homer-prone. His HR-9 rate has spiked in outings where his fastball command leaks over the middle, something Arizona sluggers like Christian Walker and Kettle Marte can exploit. On the other side, Tommy Henry brings a different look, a pitch-to-contact lefty with an ERA around the mid 4.00s, limited strikeout upside, and a tendency to allow traffic on the bases. While he can be effective when locating his slider and changeup, Henry's command lapses have often led to crooked innings. Minnesota's lineup, featuring right-handed bats like Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, and Ryan Jeffers, matches up well against Henry's arsenal. The Twins rank top 10 in ops versus left-handed pitching, and their ability to drive the ball for power, especially with Max Kepler and Royce Lewis heating up, creates a clear edge in this pitching matchup. Bullpen dynamics heavily favor Minnesota. The Twins' relief core has been one of MLB's most consistent this season, anchored by closer Jhoan Duran and supported by Griffin Jax and Caleb Thielbar. This group ranks in the top third of the league in ERA, strikeout rate, and inherited runner strand percentage. Arizona's bullpen, meanwhile, has been shaky and inconsistent, posting a bottom 10 ERA with issues in middle relief. While Paul Sewald provides stability in the ninth, the bridge to him has often faltered. Bettors analyzing late-game angles will recognize that Minnesota's bullpen advantage could be decisive in turning a close contest into a cover on the run line. From an offensive perspective, the Twins boast more home run upside, while Arizona relies on gap-to-gap power and pressure on the base paths. Minnesota ranks top 10 in slugging percentage, with Lewis, Kepler, and Buxton all sitting on strong barrel rates. Royce Lewis, in particular, has been scorching hot, hitting over .330 with power in clutch spots, making his props especially attractive. Arizona's attack centers on Marte, Walker, and Corbin Carroll, whose speed adds a dynamic wrinkle. The D-backs lead the league in stolen bases and could look to run aggressively against Ryan, who has had occasional issues holding runners. Props markets for this matchup offer intriguing edges. Joe Ryan's strikeout prop will likely open around 6.5, and the over is in play given Arizona's swing tendencies against high heat. Henry's strikeout line may be set at 4.5, with value on the under against a disciplined Twins lineup that rarely chases soft stuff. For hitting props, Royce Lewis over 1.5 total bases feels sharp, given his matchup advantage against Henry's low-velo fastball. Byron Buxton anytime HR is a high upside angle against Henry's fly ball tendencies. On the Arizona side, Christian Walker over 1.5 terabytes or anytime HR fits well with Ryan's fly ball profile, especially if Ryan's fastball leaks over the plate. Totals market projects volatility. The opening number should sit at 8.5 runs. The first 5 over 4.5 is a live play, as Henry's struggles against power bats could allow Minnesota to score early, while Ryan's home run risk keeps Arizona in play. For full game totals, the over has value if Arizona's bullpen falters, but sharp bettors may hedge with a Twins run line if looking to capitalize on late inning swings. Side-wise, Minnesota is likely to open as minus 160 megaliters favorites, with Arizona near plus 135 underdogs. While the price leans toward Minnesota, value exists on Twins team total over 4.5 runs, given their strong splits versus left-handers. Best bets narrow down into 3 key lanes. Twins ML is the primary side, Royce Lewis over 1.5 terabytes is the most consistent prop, and Twins team total over 4.5 is the highest EV angle. Secondary bets include Ryan over Ks, Buxton HR sprinkle, and Walker HR hedge exposure. SGP parlay builds offer creative options here. Conservative play. Twins ML plus Lewis 1 plus hit plus Ryan 6 plus Ks. Midrange stack. Twins team total over 4.5 plus Lewis 2 plus TB plus Buxton hour. High risk, high reward. Twins minus 1.5 plus Lewis hour plus Walker hour plus over 8.5 total. Another balance option is first 5 over 4.5 plus Twins ML plus Lewis 2 plus hits, combining early fireworks with Minnesota's late-game edge. Projected game flow paints an offensive narrative. First inning. Lewis doubles in Correa, Twins strike first 1-0. By the third, Buxton drives a 2-run homer, putting Minnesota up 3-1. Ryan deals through 5, fanning 7, but Walker answers with a solo blast in the 6th to cut the lead. Arizona's bullpen falters in the 7th, allowing Minnesota to tack on 3 more runs off back-to-back doubles from Kepler and Jeffers. By the 9th, Duran slams the door. Final projection. Twins 6, Diamondbacks 3, with key props, Lewis TB over, Buxton HR, Ryan K's over, all cashing alongside the Twins team total. Probable starters. Quinn Priester for Milwaukee 12-2, 3.25 ERA versus Andre Pallante for St. Louis 6-13, 5.28 ERA. Priester has been one of the most consistent young arms in the NL this season, generating solid strikeout numbers, keeping his walks reasonable, and limiting homers better than league average. Pallante, meanwhile, has struggled with elevated whip, command issues, and hard contact problems. He tends to give up his share of long balls and his K totals are modest in comparison to Priester's potential. That gives the Brewers a sharp edge if Priester is ticking, especially in home comfort. Milwaukee's bullpen is in better form lately. Roles are defined, late innings have been mostly clean, and their inherited runner prevention is above league average. Cardinals' pen has had decent moments but remains more volatile, more blown leads, more ability to give up crooked innings when the starter exits early or when matchups get thin. That means live betting angles drop heavily toward Brewers team totals and run lines if Priester gives them length. Any early trouble by Pallante will likely shift value heavily toward permutations favoring a Milwaukee push. Offense. The Brewers lead the league in many offensive categories, especially runs scored, and they've got power from multiple spots. Christian Yelich 27 HR, 93 RBI, Bryce Terang, Jackson Chourio, and others. At home they tend to carry momentum and launch extra base hits. For the Cardinals, Wilson, Contreras continues to be their top power bat, 20 HR, approximately .253 average, and Alec Burleson has done well in generating slugging and solid OBP. But beyond their top heads, St. Louis's lineup has lacked depth and consistency, especially against pitchers who locate well and change speeds. Priester fits that profile. Head-to-head, historically, Brewers have held a strong split versus Cardinals in many recent series. StatHead shows Milwaukee has won more head-to-head games, especially at home. Conversely, Cardinals rank much lower in slugging percentage and ops over last 30 days versus the top teams. All of that reinforces the value side leaning toward Milwaukee in both ML and totals. Market and total line. The ML Open Milwaukee -150-ish are similar with totals in the 8.59 run range. Public lean expected toward Brewers, but sharp money likely to move on props, especially on strikeout overs for Priester, home run props for Contreras, maybe even Cardinals team total overs for value if books undervalue them due to their low recent stats. Top value prop plays. Priester over 6.5 kiloseconds, high upside, given his recent ability to whiff batters at home and command his off-speed. Palante under 4.5 kiloseconds, reasonable fade land. If he can't get past the top of the order clean, he'll be vulnerable. Yelich anytime HR, strong power bat against a pitcher with home run exposure, plus home park helps. Contreras anytime HR, if Cardinals need a big moment, he's their top threat, payoff can be juicy. Alec Burleson over 1.5 total bases, good extra base hit potential, especially in favorable counts. Brewers team total over 5.5 runs, home offense is rolling, if Priester goes deep, pen is less of a concern. Totals lean and side lean. Lean full game over 9 if Priester struggles early or wind weather helps carry, otherwise under 9 if Milwaukee starter is efficient and Cardinals don't have many power bursts. Side lean. Brewers ML with some value on Brewers -1.5 in a SGP or parlay. Beware, the line may not always price the full breadth of their bullpen advantage. SGP, parlay blueprints. Balanced SGP. Brewers ML plus Priester over 6.5 kiloseconds plus Burleson TB over 1.5, starter plus hit bonus plus power. Value stack. Brewers team total over plus Yelich hour plus over 9 total, high upside on offense. High variance parlay. Brewers -1.5 plus Contreras hour plus over 9.5 total, needs multiple big outcomes but rewards nicely. Projected game flow. Early innings. Priester locks in 2 strikeouts, keeping Cardinals off base. Yelich drives in a run with a 3-run shot in the third. Palante gives up traffic, yields a double an hour by midgame. Mid-game arms hold it somewhat, but Brewers add insurance via extra base hits from Terang, and Burleson responds with a solo for St. Louis. Late innings. Milwaukee's pen closes the gap against Cardinals' offense, counters with insurance runs, final score maybe 6-2 or 7-3. Props like Priester Ks, Yelich HR, Brewers team total, ML cash hard. San Diego sends Dylan Cease, 7-11, 4.71 ERA, approximately 195 kiloseconds to the mound. He's been mixing a heavy fastball and slider combo, with the slider being especially effective at forcing broken bats and weak contact when his velo is up. On the other side, the Rockies will counter with Tanner Gordon, 5-6, 6.60 ERA, a bullpen depth pickup turned spot starter who is very hittable. His strikeout numbers are low, walk rate is elevated, and hard contact is a frequent problem. Pitching in Petco Park gives Cease a safer floor, while Gordon's flaws are magnified in hitter-friendly conditions with a low margin for error. The bullpen tilt is heavily in favor of the Padres. San Diego's relievers have been sharp in recent homestands, especially with Robert Suarez anchoring the ninth and solid setup arms ahead. Their whip, inherited runners stranded. and strikeout-walk splits are all trending better than league average. The Rockies' bullpen remains overworked and fragile, middle relief frequently gives up extra base hits, and the leverage arms are thin. That makes in-game betting opportunities skew toward Padres team totals, run line, and props once Gordon is chased early. Also the full game over becomes more likely. Offensively, Padres have surged in recent games. They pounded the Rockies already in their last series, hitting 4 homers in one game and taking advantage of Colorado starter weaknesses. Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, and Fernando Tatis Jr. continue to produce power and extra bases. Luis Arraez excels in OBP and gap-to-gap hits. Colorado relies mostly on Hunter Goodman, 30 HR, .282 AVG, for power, but beyond him the lineup is weak, especially against right-handed pitchers who attack the plate. The discrepancy in offensive depth and power is large, and San Diego should get the better matchups throughout. Market context. Early odds show Padres as respectable favorites when Cease starts. The moneyline reflects that. The total is being floated in the 9.5 to 10 range. Sharp money is expected on Cease strikeout over, Padres team total overs, and possibly living props on Machado and Goodman. If Gordon comes out and is hittable early, Padres ML and run line pushes will see action. The public may lean Padres heavily, but value is most accessible in individual props and totals rather than just the moneyline. Key prop angles. Cease over 6.5 kiloseconds. Strong upside with his big swing and miss stuff versus a Rockies lineup that struggles versus high-spin fastballs and elevated sliders. Gordon under 4.5 kiloseconds. Fade candidate, likely to be pressured early. Hunter Goodman anytime HR, Colorado's lone consistent power bat. When anything elevated shows, he can punish. Manny Machado 2+ total bases, dependable extra base threat and good power splits versus righty. Padres team total over 5.5, base runners plus runs equals value if Cease cruises through 5. Totals and side lean. Leaning over 10 runs full game if Cease or bullpen allows any traffic. Lean under 10 early if Cease is sharp and Padres pen locks in. Side lean. Padres ML modest. Padres minus 1.5 is wild parlay leg or small stake if expecting offense explosion. Best bets. Cease over 6.5 kiloseconds, most conviction. Padres team total over 5.5, good value. Machado TB over, 2+ total bases, safer power play. SGP, parlay structures. Conservative SGP. Padres ML plus Cease over Ks plus Machado TB over, correlation strong. Value stack. Pads TT over plus Goodman hour plus over 10 total, offense plus power picks. High variance. Padres minus 1.5 plus Machado hour plus over 10.5 total, for small ticket, big payout. Projected game flow. First inning. Cease fans 2, Machado doubles for early lead. Third. Rockies get Goodman RBI, Padres respond with Machado shot. Mid-game. Cease holds through 5 with 7 kiloseconds. Gordon can't keep up, gives up crooked frame. Late innings. Padres widen lead-off bullpen outing. Goodman adds solo later but Padres pen snuffs out rally. Final score approximately 6-3 Padres. Props cash. Team total over hits. ML holds. The A's will send Brady Singer, 13-9, approximately 3.98 ERA, approximately 145 kiloseconds to the mound. He has been solid this season. Moderate walk rates, decent strikeout ability, good control when his fastball, slider combo is sharp. The Reds counter with JT. Ginn, 3-6, approximately 4.95 ERA, whip approximately 1.34. Ginn has flair but has been hit hard, especially when his command drifts. His stuff can flash, but consistency has been lacking. In short, Singer is the safer play. Ginn offers upside for damage if he finds his zone out of the gate. Probable pitchers source confirms Singer vs. Ginn. Bullpen dynamics. Oakland's bullpen has been serviceable but stretches thin, especially late in games. Their setup arms are middle tier, closers have had mixed nights. Cincinnati's pen is slightly more underrated as undervalued, with relievers capable of high leverage holds, though they've also been burned in games where Ginn leaves early. If Singer works 5 to 6 innings, Oakland has an opportunity to lean on a relatively stable bullpen to protect small leads. If Ginn exits early or struggles, Cincinnati pen may be exposed. Offensive and analytics trends. Reds offense. Elly De La Cruz stands out with power and run production, over 80 RBIs, multiple home runs. The Reds have been better versus RHP lately, including getting on base, drawing walks, and turning on elevated fastballs. Their slugging versus righties is above league average, especially when facing mid-rotation arms. On the other side, Oakland's offense has been more contact, gap hit-oriented. Jacob Wilson, Shea Langeliers bring pop occasionally. Tyler Soderstrom has HR upside. The A's are weaker deep in their order, though home field power factors in slightly. At Sutter Health, ball carry is neutral to fair power friendly in calm conditions. Wind or evening dampness could suppress distance. Market and totals context. Moneyline. Oakland's slight underdog or close pick'em due to Reds being seen as having more offensive upside. Total sits approximately 8.5 to 9 runs. Sharp bettors will hone in on strikeout props, team totals, and home run props early. Live movement expected on team total overs once Ginn's warm-up velo and command are reported, also on Oakland's team total if Singer starts strong. Player props and value highlights. Singer over 6.5 kiloseconds, strong upside if Reds are aggressive early and Ginn is around for multiple innings. Ginn under 5.5 kiloseconds, fade if his command is shaky, as history with high walk plus homer exposure suggests. Elly De La Cruz anytime HR, prime power play for Cincinnati. Tyler Soderstrom over 1.5 total bases, good extra base threat for Oakland. Reds team total over 4.5, plausible, given offensive matchups. Totals lean and side lean. Lean over 9 runs full game if either starter falters early or bullpen gets used before 7. Lean under 9 if Singer remains sharp and Oakland keeps it close. Side lean is Reds ML with flavor play on over in team totals, especially Reds TT. Best bets summary. Primary. De La Cruz HR, biggest upside and value pick. Value. Singer over 6.5 kiloseconds, starter prop with favorable risk. Team bet. Reds ML moderate unit or Reds TT over 4.5. SGP parlay builds. Conservative. Reds ML plus Singer over 6.5 kiloseconds plus under 10 total, combining safer elements. Value stack. Reds TT over plus De La Cruz hour plus Ginn under Ks, hits both offense and pitcher weakness. High variance. Reds minus 1.5 plus De La Cruz hour plus over 10 total, for small size, high payout. Game flow projection. First inning. Singer fans 2, holds down the line, Reds tinker with offense but leave runners. Mid-game. De La Cruz launches the first big swing, solo home run. Oakland counters with Soderstrom double, RBI. As the middle innings roll, Ginn gives up extra base hits and gets into trouble around 4th, 5th. Reds tack on insurance in 6th. Oakland tries to respond through homers late but bullpen tightens. Final projected score. Reds 5-2 or 5-3, props depending on De La Cruz homers and Reds TT. Yusei Kikuchi LHP, Angels, approximately 6-11, 4.18 ERA, approximately 1.48 WHIP, faces Luis Castillo RHP, Mariners, approximately 9-8, 3.85 ERA, approximately 1.27 WHIP. Kikuchi's season has been uneven. When his off-speed stuff curve, changeup, is riding, he can steal innings, when those secondary pitches flatten, he's vulnerable to extra base hits and long fly balls. Castillo has better control metrics, fewer walks and homers per 9 than league average, and has shown solid performance at home in Seattle. This gives Mariners a floor in the matchup, particularly if Castillo's heater is sharp and his changeup drops in the zone. Seattle's bullpen has been trending upward. Over recent games they've allowed very few runs in high-leverage spots and have inherited runners better than many peers. Angel's pen is more suspect, shaky middle innings and more leak potential. If Kikuchi works past the fourth, his margin becomes thin. Mariners' pen is more equipped to preserve narrow leads if Castillo gives them 5-6 quality. Late-game leverage heavily favors Seattle, especially in run line and ML bets. Offensively, the Mariners are riding a streak of power. Cal Raleigh leads MLB with 53 home runs and 113 RBIs. Julio Rodriguez has been dangerous all season, hits, barrels, extra bases, and their offense overall has been among the better ones in slugging and run production at home. The Angels, by contrast, have been more volatile. Their batting average low, but they generate surprising power via Joe Adell, 35-hour, and Zach Nedu, but consistency is lacking across the lineup. Their ops on road versus tougher starters is among the lower tiers. From market information, Mariners are opening as favorites at home, ML around -160 to -170 range, with the run line of -1.5 in play. Total runs line is hovering around 8 to 8.5, with over-under splits showing some back and forth momentum. Many betting previews show Mariners ML and team total overs as value plays. Some projections lean toward under 8 in Seattle due to its pitcher-friendly conditions and evening games suppressing offense slightly. Player prop angles. Castillo over 5.5 strikeouts. Strong upside since Angels often swing at fastballs, and his whiff rates are good when his ferocious stuff is working. Kikuchi under 5.5 strikeouts. Reasonable fade if Seattle locks in discipline and takes advantage of his secondary offering gaps. Cal Raleigh anytime HR. Highest power bat in Mariners lineup. Juicy power upside versus a starter who gives up barrels when his off-speed is hittable. Joe Adell anytime hour. Bigger risk but reward. Angel's most dangerous power source when elevated fastballs are up. Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 total bases. Disciplined hitter who reaches extra bases, a safer prop. Mariners team total over 4.5, probable if they produce early and crack Kikuchi before the fifth. Totals and side leans. Lean full game over approximately 8.5 runs if the Mariners get to Kikuchi early, and Mariners bullpen holds. Lean under if Castillo dominates, Mariners are held in check early, and Angels stay small ball until late. ML side lean. Mariners ML modest but strong. Value on Mariners -1.5 in a parlay if confident in run support. Best bets. Primary. Cal Raleigh anytime HR. Highest EV among power props. Value. Castillo over 5.5 kiloseconds. Strong strikeout count potential. Team value. Mariners TT over 4.5. Consistent scoring, favorable matchups. SGP, Parlay Blueprints. Conservative Parlay. Mariners ML plus Castillo over Ks plus Raleigh TB over 1.5. Anchor with starter plus power plus safe TB leg. Value stack. Mariners TT over plus Raleigh hour plus Julio Rodriguez TB over. Offense punch with 2 big bat props. High upside parlay. Mariners -1.5 plus Raleigh hour plus Adell hour plus total over 9. Tiny ticket, big payout if power bursts. Game flow projection. First innings. Castillo strikes out 2, mixes fastballs and changeups. Angels answer in first or second with a solo shot from Adell or Nedu if Castillo misses up. Third. Mariners counter via RBI from Raleigh or J-Rod, adding insurance. Mid-game. Faithful crowd. Bullpen warming for both. Mariners add another via power swing. Late innings. Angels bullpen cracks under pressure. Mariners pad lead. Final expected. Mariners 6, Angels 3. Key props cash. Raleigh HR, Castillo K's over, Mariners TT over, maybe Adele HR squeeze. Yoshinobu Yamamoto draws the ball for the Dodgers and Justin Verlander gets the ball for the Giants in what should be the marquee tilt of the night. An old-school pitching duel on paper that threatens to break open into a slugfest at any moment. Yamamoto has pitched like an ace all season. Premium command, heavy life on his fastball, and a secondaries toolkit that generates whiffs without losing too much contact. Verlander, despite some ugly results in spots this year, still lives on pitch sequencing and late life breaking stuff. When he's on the mound he can bully lineups with two-strike stuff and force weak contact. Both arms set up a game where early counts and plate discipline will determine whether we see a low-scoring pitcher's chess match or a late-inning fireworks show. Bullpens are the hinge. Los Angeles boasts one of the deeper relief mixes in baseball. Multiple late-inning arms who can miss bats and preserve small leads, and that gives the Dodgers leverage if Yamamoto exits after 6. If the game is tight late, their bridge to the 9th is a huge edge. San Francisco's pen is less consistent but has a few high-leverage weapons that can flip a game in the blink of an eye. Their matchup usage and situational deception, left on left, right on right, can neutralize a stacked Dodger lineup in short bursts. The micro signal to watch is bullpen warm-ups in innings 4 through 6. The first arm that gets work often tells you which team is going to rely on leverage and where live money will move in-game. Offensively, Los Angeles brings a balanced attack, a mix of run producers who punish spin and velocity and table setters who extend at bats. Expect them to attack Verlander early with disciplined counts and elevated fastballs. When Verlander misses, the Dodgers have enough launch artists to make him pay. San Francisco's offense is scrappy and opportunistic. They manufacture runs, exploit extended counts and live on extra base hits and the occasional moonshot. Oracle Park suppresses long balls relative to many venues, but small gaps and advanced hitters who drive the ball to right center can manufacture big innings there. The practical implication: Dodgers have the edge in raw power, Giants the edge in small ball and situational hitting. Both paths can win this game. Market and totals context. Expect a tight moneyline with the Dodgers as the slight favorite given rotation depth and bullpen reliability, and a total floating in the high 7 to low 9 range. Early sharps will immediately eye starter K props and team totals. Yamamoto's K line and Verlander's innings outs number are going to be the most useful gauges of value pregame. If Yamamoto's strikeout line is set conservatively, that's a primary anchor. If Verlander's velocity shows any dip in warm-ups, look for MLB books to juice Dodgers ML and Dodgers team total overs. Player prop hotspots I like in this matchup. Yamamoto over 6.5 kiloseconds. Top call if the line is reachable. He racks whiffs when his cutter and splitter are sharp. Verlander over 5.5 kiloseconds. Veteran with two-strike nastiness, still can pile up Ks in big outings. Dodgers team total over 4.5. Balance, depth, and bullpen edge make this a high EV team play when priced fairly. Mookie Betts anytime HR. Power bat who punishes mistakes, especially belts on breaking pitches left up. Giants team total over 3.5. Small play the scrappy side if Verlander shows any early shakiness. Giants manufacture runs. Totals and lean. Pre-game lean is a slight Dodgers ML plus Yamamoto K over and Dodgers team total over, sizing moderately. Lean the full game over only if either starter opens with early traffic, first 2 innings. The clean pivot is first 5 innings lines. If both arms are working, the F5 under is a valuable hedge, if either starter gets knocked around early, the F5 over becomes a sharper, lower juice play. Best bets ranked. Primary. Yamamoto over 6.5 kiloseconds, single ticket anchor. Value. Dodgers team total over 4.5, 1-2% unit. Hedge, small. Verlander over 5.5 kiloseconds, tiny ticket if priced at plus odds. SGP, parlay blueprints, correlation aware. Conservative SGP. Dodgers ML plus Yamamoto over Ks plus Mookie 1 plus hit. Starter control plus team plus low variance hit leg. Balanced build. Dodgers TT over 4.5 plus Verlander over Ks plus Giants TT over 3.5, both offenses with K edge. High upside play, tiny, Dodgers minus 1.5 plus bets our plus over 9. Needs power and run eruption but pays handsomely. Game flow narrative I expect. Yamamoto attacks early with a heavy fastball and splitter, racking up 3 kiloseconds in the first 2 frames. Verlander answers with command, wriggling through jams and limiting damage. Mid-game. Dodgers scratch first via 2-out hitting, then Betts lashes a middle-inning extra base hit to push the lead. Verlander finds a groove and pushes into the 6th, but fatigue shows. Dodgers tack on insurance off a bullpen righty. 9th. Dodgers pen shuts the door. Final 5-2 Dodgers with starter prop and team total cashes. In-game pivots to watch. Starter pitch counts at the end of the 4th, 5th, first bullpen arm to take the mound, and any late scratches to the lineup. Those 3 micro moves will flip the market faster than any pregame model. Size your parlays conservatively, keep single-ticket starter props as the core, and use team totals and correlated TB legs to juice your return without overexposing to unlikely HR sequences. And that wraps up our breakdown for every single matchup on the September 12th MLB slate. Remember, the books want you to take the obvious plays, but the real edge is in the details, and that's where we live on this channel. If you found value in this breakdown, smash that like button, drop your best bet in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss when we uncover the sharpest edges on the board. Let's beat the books together, one slate at a time.